Once, a parish priest called a special meeting to raise funds for the flood victims in certain parts of the country. The priest explained the need of those victims and asked the parishioners to make their contributions. After a brief pause, a very rich young man in the parish volunteered to give $50. Just as he sat down, a chunk of plaster fell from the ceiling right on his head. He jumped up, looked terribly startled, and said, "No, I meant to say $500." The congregation stood silent and stunned. Then someone from the back prayed so loudly, "Oh Lord, hit him again." Dear friends, in this world of modernization, materialism, and globalization, the individualistic values of money, wealth, and status have taken over the human values like love, care, and sacrifice. Therefore, this Sunday invites all of us to reflect on the theme: choose relationships over wealth. The speech of Solomon places before us an important question: do we desire wisdom, and how much do we value it? It reminds us that wisdom is a priceless gift of God and an ability to discern what is good and what is bad that can only be achieved by an encounter with God through listening to the word and through prayer. It has to be valued more than silver and gold. If God were to ask us to name the one thing that He could give us, what would we ask for? A good job? A beautiful house? A profitable career? To be number one? To be healthy, and so on? All these are good and necessary for us. But is it what I have that is important, or what I am that is important to me? Friends, to catch monkeys, people keep a small piece of coconut or a fruit in a box which has a small opening. When the monkey grasps at the piece of coconut or the fruit, it cannot remove its hand unless it lets go of the coconut piece or the fruit and remove the hand backward. But the monkey is so greedy that it does not want to let go of the piece, and thereby it gets caught. This is exactly what happened to the rich young man in the gospel. He wanted to inherit eternal life, but was unwilling to give up his material wealth and status and name. There are two important main reasons why richness or riches prevent people from reaching God. First of all, the rich think that they can buy happiness and they don't need God and anybody in their life. Secondly, the riches make a person selfish and earthly, so much so they fail to think of the life after or the life eternal. Jesus said to the young man, "You are lacking one thing. Go, sell what you own." Yes, we all lack something and we need to get rid of something in our lives. It may be money or our anger, grudge, alcohol, drugs, lust, disinterestedness, lies, laziness, unfaithfulness, theft, fraud, and so on and so forth. It's like an young man is walking and almost reaching heaven, but is unable to enter because the other hand is chained down and imprisoned by this world. But at the same time, Jesus does not say that money is the root of all evil, but love for money, that is evil. Today, there are people who love money and use people rather than loving people and using money. As a matter of fact, Jesus had many wealthy friends like Zacchaeus, Joseph of Arimathea, and Nicodemus, and so on. Jesus never condemned the rich people. Wealth is not a curse. It is a means to acquire eternal wealth. So, we are called to make a change in our attitude with regard to wealth and understand the fact that it is God's gift that is given to us to be shared with everyone. Let us invest our God given wealth, time, talent, and knowledge in a proper way for choosing the one thing that is very important and necessary for our lives. We all heard of the real story that when Alexander the Great died, and when they took his body into the streets, they put both his hands outside the casket as directed by Alexander. Why? To show that he was his leaving this life with empty hand, that he was not taking anything with him. All those things that we fight for and hold on to in this life are passing, and there is a time in which we must all let them go. What best example we can have more than Jesus himself? He let go of the equality with God and heaven to join us here on earth, so that we could let go of the earth and its desires to join him in heaven. A Chinese proverb goes this way, which says about the importance of money. With money, you can buy a house, but not a home. With money, you can buy a clock, but not time. With money, you can buy a bed, but not sleep. With money, you can buy books, but not knowledge. With money, you can see a doctor, but not good health. With money, you can buy a position, but not respect. With money, you can buy blood, but not life. With money, you can buy insurance, but not safety. Yes, friends. Pope Francis also spoke of a very rich lady, a woman who was so attached to money that when she fainted, someone suggested putting $100 under her nose to wake her up. This is the kind of people among whom we live today. There are lots of people of this kind, so attached to money, wealth, and they forget about what is most important in our lives. And let me conclude with a beautiful small story. A small passenger plane was flying through the sky, carrying a minister, a scout boy, and the president of a computer manufacturing company. Suddenly, the engine went dead. There were only three parachutes available in the plane. I have to have a parachute, cried the pilot. I have a wife and three kids. So he grabbed a parachute, put it on, and jumped out. The other three passengers were looking at one another. Well, I certainly should have one of the parachutes, exclaimed the computer manufacturer. I am the smartest man in the world. And slipping his arms into the shoulder straps, he also jumped out. Son, said the minister very calmly, you take the last parachute. I am an old man and ready to meet my Maker. You are a fine youth with all your life ahead of you. Relax, Reverend, said the scout boy with a smile. There's still a parachute for each of us. The smartest man in the world just jumped out wearing my school bag. Yes, here we find the foolish thing that the computer manufacturer does. The choice today is ours. Which way to choose? Do you want to choose money, wealth, and these worldly desires, which is perishing? Or do you want to choose relationships that are enduring?